Hello everybody and welcome to the second lab in the course. In these videos, we're going to see the basics of how to work with R and RStudio, the easy way. If you're new to R or programming in general, this lab is going to guide you through the basic and powerful ideas that you can adopt in your data science projects. So first of all, we're going to see how to move around RStudio in an efficient manner. And then we're going to cover basics like sessions and packages, which a lot of people find very confusing when working with R for the first time. After that, we will talk about R scripts and how they help us manage our work, share it with others, and make it reproducible. Something very much related to this is the working directory, which we will also see about along with our studio projects. And finally, we are going to spend some time introducing R Markdown, which allows us to make beautiful documents and presentations around our analysis in R. So let's get started and first talk about R and RStudio. R is a free programming language for statistical computing. If you know other programming languages like C, Java, Python, PHP, R is just one more language. And it's a language specifically designed for statistical computing, for doing data science, if you will. Of course, you can use R directly as any other language, but what we typically do is we use some piece of software that allows us to have an easy to use interface with the language and offer an environment in which we can do programming a lot easier. And in our case, we're going to be using RStudio. It's an IDE, it's an integrated development environment, specifically designed to work with R in data science projects. By the way, there is an RStudio server version, but you can ignore it. We're going to use the RStudio desktop version. So if you run R directly, you're going to see something like this. This is what I see in my Windows machine, but in Linux or Mac, you're going to see something pretty similar. And what we have is just an R console, which is the place in which we can start typing R commands, R statements. So let's say that I want to create a new variable called x and make it equal 50. That's how you do it. If we want to do another second variable, y equals x times 2 minus 6, this is how you do it. So everything we know about R, we can type it right into this console and we can start working with the language. Now, as you see, this thing is pretty much empty. There's not much available for us. On the other hand, if we take a look at RStudio, we have some more options. By the way, if you see this RStudio is different from yours because, well, mine is with the dark background and yours is probably white. Maybe the layout of the different panels is different. This is because I just configured it the way I like it. If you want to change yours, you can go to the Tools menu, Global Options, and over here, go ahead, take a look. There's plenty of options to configure RStudio to your will. But there are certain places that I want to emphasize. First of all, here's the console, the R console, which is essentially the same thing that we had before. We can start typing our commands in here just like we did before. So we can do something like that and then do y equals x times 2 and 8, for example, and then we can show the mean of y. So it's just the console again. However, in RStudio here, we also have an environment in which we can check what are the variables that we have available for us. So we define variable x, we define variable y, and here they are. We can quickly see what they are. If we have a data frame, things like that, they're also going to be showing up in here in the environment panel. We also have a panel for plots. So whenever we start doing some visualizations of our data, they are going to show up in here. We're going to see options to export them to files so that we can paste images into our Word document, for example. Something that you can also do here is, let's say I want to look for the help page of the mean function. You can just go ahead and type a question mark mean, and over here in the help panel, you're going to see the help page for the mean function. Normally, you're going to see something like how to use the function, what arguments there are to the function, what value it returns. Normally, there's going to be some details if the functions are a little bit more complicated, and some pointers to similar functions or related functions and some examples. So if I want to look at the help for how to build a data frame, I can just do something like this, and I have a lot of information here about how to create data frames. Something that is very useful here in RStudio is that we can use the tab key in your keyboard to autocomplete when we're writing. So if I want to use the min function, automatically RStudio is going to show a list with suggestions for us to autocomplete. If these suggestions do not show up, or you cancel, or you want to show the suggestions earlier, you can always press tab, and then you're going to see the same thing. It's going to suggest for you based on what you have typed so far. So if I do the mean of y, and then over here, as I'm typing the parameters to the function, I press the tab key again, it's going to show me what parameters I can use for the mean function, so that I can easily see a little help of what they mean, what information do I have to provide to the function, etc., etc. So get used to using the tab key, because it's going to save you a lot of keystrokes on your keyboard. Another very useful feature here is the history of commands. So it's essentially a list of the previous commands that we have typed into the console. So if you press the arrow up and arrow down keys on your keyboard, you can navigate through the previous commands that you typed into the console. So let's say if I know I made a mistake over here, and this was not meant to be an 8 but a 7, I can easily go back and fix the error. We will see a little bit more of RStudio when we talk about scripts.